All right, welcome. So, in this training, we're going to be going over the latest breakthrough in app marketing and the keys to exponential user acquisition. And what this training is going to be about is a proven model that we've discovered to systematically get more downloads for your app, more paying users for your app, and to do this without wasting resources. All right, so let's dive right into it and talk about some of the things we're going to cover today. So, we're going to be talking about the difference between apps that fail and those that succeed well beyond their initial goals. We're going to talk about some of the things we discovered that they're doing and the current strategies they're putting to market to experience exponential growth. We're going to talk about how the paid advertising landscape has actually changed pretty dramatically in the last couple of years and how it's making it harder than ever for apps looking to grow. We're going to talk about some of the three biggest problems with traditional app marketing and how they cause so many apps to fail when they invest in different marketing systems or different marketing techniques. And then we're going to talk about a breakthrough approach to solving all of these challenges and how you can unlock exponential growth for your app. And as part of going through all of this, one of the things I'm going to share with you is a specific story about how an underdog app grew to 4 million paying users in a relatively short period of time, despite being underfunded and understaffed. And the strategy that they use to do that, that you're going to be able to model for your app to be able to experience the same kind of growth. All right, so before we dive into the core part of this training here, I thought it'd be helpful to share a little bit of my story and background for some context. So at this point, I have well over a decade worth of experience in the marketing industry. I've ran multiple different agencies that have transformed the markets that they've been in with cutting edge strategies. And really, what I've specialized on in my career is coming into different markets and looking at how kind of the standard ways in which everyone is approaching user acquisition or customer acquisition and looking at ways to innovate on that to really get better results than what's the industry average. And so, as a result of that, I've had the opportunity over the years to work with a couple hundred amazing clients. I've worked with some massive Fortune 500 companies that you've probably heard of. I've worked with some really aggressive growth startups that are venture backed, as well as a ton of companies that were self funded by entrepreneurs looking to develop and use innovative strategies to grow on more of a constrained budget. And during this time, I've managed well over $70 million worth of advertising spend across basically every major platform. So, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even Snapchat, basically every single platform out there we've ran advertising on for clients. And the reason I share this is just to give you some context and to let you know that the things we're going to be sharing today are based on real world experience. These are based on actual strategies that we've developed and deployed for clients and that we see working in the market right now. Now, before you invest your time to stick around until the end of this training, I wanted to share a little bit more about who we made this training for to make sure you're in the right place. So, this training is for you if you're an app owner that is committed to growing your app fast and want to do so in as intelligently a way as possible. This training is also going to be for you if you want to start generating not just installs out of the gate, but actual monetized users and revenue as early as possible for your app. And this is going to be for you if you don't know where to start generating users and are kind of early pre-launch stage, or it's also going to be for you if you're already running ads and are looking for ways to take things to the next level and update your systems and models to get the best possible results. This is also going to be for you if you're looking for the fastest, most effective strategy to grow your app in the current market without wasting funds and resources on strategies that are outdated and not as competitive in today's landscape. And finally, this training is for you if you believe in investing in marketing and advertising and see the value of it to accelerate the growth of your app. Now, if you're small and you don't have a huge budget yet, I think there's still going to be some incredibly valuable things in this training that'll help you think about structuring the growth of your app moving forwards. But I just want to make sure we're clear in advance that this is something that is going to involve investing in marketing and advertising to be able to get the best results out of this strategy. All right, so final thing here, I promise before we dive into the actual training, I just have one quick disclaimer that I think is really important to highlight to make sure that you get the best results out of these strategies. It is incredibly important to have a great product. To grow your app fast, you must have a great product that users absolutely love. You can have the best marketing strategy in the world, and it's not going to be able to profitably sell a product that your market doesn't crave. And this is so fundamental to getting results with advertising and marketing that I would hate to see you invest in any system without fully understanding how important having an incredible product is to getting results. This is why we're actually highly selective at Round Squared about which apps we will work with. And we even turn away apps if we feel they would be better served by focusing on improving their product first before investing in growth. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's dive into the core part of this training. So, why is this training so important right now? Well, let's talk about some of the reasons why the app market is changing and why app marketing is actually getting harder than ever. So the truth is that most app marketing is severely outdated. It really hasn't changed since the beginning of app marketing on these different platforms. And as a result, it's often expensive and not super effective at driving results. Profitability on top of that is really getting harder than ever due to increasing ad costs. So all of the platforms are getting more competitive as more advertisers get on them. And that causes an increase of advertising costs over time. On top of that, we're also experiencing more and more difficulties with attribution, and that's a result of some of the privacy concerns and some of those things that happened at Facebook. And so it's harder and harder to get quality attribution, which makes marketing more difficult. And there's even more increasing competition. So there's more apps than ever. There's more competition out there in basically every single market that's making costs climb as well. And it's really taking a lot of those old, outdated strategies and making them less and less effective over time. On top of that, people are tired of being harassed by advertising. There's advertising in basically every channel now, and feeds are getting more and more saturated by ads. And people have just learned to tune these out. They've learned to tune out intrusive ads, and kind of learn to ignore them on these different platforms. And the cost of doing app marketing wrong now is higher than ever because users have so many choices. Now, the good news is that despite these challenges, they can actually be overcome through innovation and the right model. And fortunately, that's going to be what we're sharing with you here today. So, the key takeaway here is that attention is critical to marketing your app. You have to get and keep attention if you want to be able to introduce someone to your product and get them to download and install and eventually become a customer. And in today's marketplace, it's getting harder, or it is harder than ever, to get and keep attention because of how much noise there is out there. So that leads us into kind of the story that I want to share about how an understaffed and underfunded app was able to dominate their competition and attract over 4 million paying users, as well as reach a valuation of over $2 billion in record time. And so this is the story of Calm. So today, Calm is obviously a market leader. They're a dominant player in that industry if you're familiar with them, but they didn't start off that way. So when Michael Smith founded Calm, he was actually on the heels of a complete business collapse. And he had been working extreme hours to grow his business, kind of investing everything into it. If you listen to interviews of him from that time, you really get a sense of like how much this was consuming him. And one day the market shifted and he lost everything pretty much overnight or in a very short period of time. That business got wiped out and he was kind of forced to assess where he wanted to go from there. And so tired of all the constant stress and kind of the very high anxiety lifestyle that he'd been living growing that previous company, he was looking for another solution and a different market or a different product to grow. And it kind of led him to the meditation space and also led him to this whole new product and this whole new journey in growing an app. And he was looking for a better model and a better approach to grow this business as well. And so the breakthrough came with a unique combination of advertising and content that we're going to be sharing today. And so the result of this new strategy was that Calm went from an underdog to a multi-billion-dollar app in just a few short years. At the time, they actually had a competitor, Headspace, that dwarfed them and was much further along and had pretty much every advantage in the book. Calm was underfunded and understaffed and really didn't have the same advantages. And in a short period of time, they were able to overtake that competitor and become the market leader and still are the market leader today. So the question is, how did they do this? How did they go from being this underdog app with a bunch of things against them? How did they transform from that position to get to be a market leader, number one in the app store in their space, and really a huge success story? So I'm going to share with you the exact strategy that Calm used to be able to do this. But before I do, it's important to understand the three biggest problems with traditional app marketing that this strategy was designed to address. So the first mistake that traditional app marketing makes is that it focuses exclusively on the product and doesn't deliver value to consumers. And the reason this is so important is that, again, like I mentioned before, consumers today have more options than ever and are completely burned out on traditional advertising. Users have really learned to tune out even the most absurd and dramatic ads, and they just see them as an annoyance. They see it as a company that's trying to pitch their product, and they just tune them out the way people learned to tune out commercials back in the day. We've done the exact same thing now with advertising on our phones. Consumers have learned to tune this out because it doesn't provide any value to them. Research even shows, which is really interesting, that these types of ads actually make users more resistant to buying from you. So even though some users actually do buy, it just leaves a bad brand recognition with those users that see those ads repeatedly and are kind of getting followed by them. These ads are like an annoying salesperson that just yells at you to try and buy product on the street. So if you've ever been to like a mall or something, or just out on the street somewhere where there's those salespeople that will just kind of try to flag you down and grab your attention, That's the same thing that's happening on social media platforms. People are going there for other reasons than to see your ads. And so traditional app marketing and traditional ads that just try to sell the product do a relatively bad job at getting attention and keeping attention because they don't provide any value. So I want to show you a few examples of what I'm talking about here. All right, so this first one is from a company called Evernote. And if you're not familiar with them, they're a pretty big company. They have a note taking app. In the last couple of years, I think they've fallen out of favor a little bit and kind of had a decline. But this is one of the ads that they're currently running in the market right now. And so a couple of things I want to highlight here is you can see on this ad, the first headline up at the top there says, try the leading note taking app. So it's really all about them. It does have a couple of different benefits throughout the ad, but it just doesn't provide any value. And that's the key thing we're looking at here. So here's another ad from Slack. You can see it's like a customer testimonial. It kind of talks about what it does, but doesn't really say specifically. It just says it helps keep you focused on what's most important. So again, some benefits there, but it's still not providing any value to consumers. And again, we're going to talk about this in a second, but the reason people go on these platforms is not to consume ads. And then we have another one here, which is from Spanish or an English language class, or an app that helps you learn a language. And again, it does provide some benefits. It talks about kind of the end result you're going for. And I'm not saying these are bad ads, but they're still exclusively focused on the product and they're not really focused on providing value. And the reason this is so important is because they're not providing value, they're going to have a very challenging time in today's market of getting and keeping attention, which is critical to getting the best results with your app marketing, especially if you don't have the same kind of brand recognition as some of these brands here. So what I want to do is I want to share with you a much more effective way to capture users' attention and direct it towards your app in a much more natural way that's going to generate better quality installs and a higher conversion rate from those installs as well. So what is the solution here? The solution is to create content that actually provides value to your market and gives them what they want to actually engage with. So what you want to do is create content that actually provides value to your market. I'm going to show you examples of this in a second, instead of just trying to sell them on how great your app is. This approach is going to bypass people's sales defenses because it focuses on giving them what they want instead of just trying to sell out of the gate. By providing value in advance and by helping your market of potential users, you're going to build real trust that will translate into growth. This leads to them authentically being more open to learning about your app and less resistant to buying. So here's how Calm applied this strategy. Calm did this by getting their users' attention in a way that actually benefited them. They provided value in advance through content. This approach accomplishes the goal of getting attention much more effectively than product-focused ads that are easily tuned out. And as a result, they developed more trust from their audience, and this led to increasing sales. The users they attracted from content were more likely to become paying users and more likely to stick around for the long term without churning. So here's a couple of different examples of how Calm did this and the content they created. There's a couple of different Facebook posts, there's a blog post here, and there's a YouTube video. And I want you to notice two things. I want you to first notice that one, these are value driven, so they're providing value to their marketplace. We've got an example of one that says 7 ways to lower your cortisol and reduce stress. That's something that consumers in the market are going to be interested in, and people that are going to be interested in their kind of app would be interested in. And so it's getting their attention, and then it's actually delivering value by providing them with a list or some piece of content that helps them achieve that thing that they want. They have another one here that says 8 mental health exercises to boost brain health at any age. We've got one that is a blog that says 9 ways to help a friend with anxiety. These are all pieces of content and information that users are actually going to want to engage with because, again, they're providing value. The second thing that I want you to notice, though, is that each of these also provide a way to direct people to Calm. So you can see on the first one here, the second one is to practice mindfulness techniques, which is going to lead to a meditation app, which is Calm. You've got the second one here as well in this other post, which is meditation directly. So again, it's recommending a focus on your breath or a guided practice for 10 to 20 minutes. Again, that's something Calm directly does. And on the blog post and on this YouTube video as well, they're not pushing people away from installing. So we're not turning away people that would want to install the app right away, but we're creating content that users on these platforms actually want to engage with. They don't want to engage with ads, but something like this, they'll actually stop and take the time to engage with and read, and that'll get their attention enough to have them consider your app to be able to download. So I'm not suggesting that you don't promote your app. What I'm suggesting is that you do it strategically in order to get the best results from your advertising and marketing efforts. So there is one problem here. Unfortunately, content by itself doesn't typically generate results. We found that most apps can't rely on the slow growth of just organic content marketing to achieve their goals. Most want to grow quicker than that. And they need some form of advertising to accelerate people discovering the product in the first place to be able to generate users fast. And so that actually leads us to the second mistake here, which is fighting over the top. So, the second biggest problem we see with traditional app marketing is that it focuses exclusively on the smallest percentage of the market. This works because these are the people who do want to buy right now. But the problem is, this approach is hyper competitive and extremely expensive. By only focusing on the people ready to buy right now in that top part of this pyramid here, you're competing with literally every other business in your market for those customers. And so, what I want to compare this to is think of a salesperson or multiple salespeople in one store fighting over one customer. If there's a bunch of different salespeople in a store and there's a single customer that walks in, that one customer is now going to get hounded by 10 or 15 different salespeople. And as a result, they're going to have a much harder time, any single one of them, getting that sale. Now, imagine if one of those salespeople went outside and actually talked to customers that were not necessarily coming in the store and most likely to buy because they walked into that store, but talked to those customers, engaged with them, provided value, and started a conversation so that if they were interested, they could convert them into buying. That's a significantly different way of approaching this that can dramatically improve your results. And so here's some examples of some of those existing ads in the marketplace right now that are just going after that top percentage. So here's another one from Evernote. You can see here this one is announcing Evernote's free access to premium features. Well, if you're not interested in Evernote and you're not considering buying Evernote right now, that it's not going to interest you at all to see this ad. You're just going to scroll past it, and as a result, they're not going to have high click-through rates and they're not going to get good results. So here's another example. This one is of a focus boosting timer for people with ADHD. And again, you can see it's making that first mistake of just being about the app. It's not providing value, and it's targeting those people at the top that are the ones ready to install right now. So it just has an apply now button. It's going to send people to the app store, and it's really only designed to get people who are in this current moment exactly right now ready to click on an ad for this particular type of product and want to install. And again, that's the smallest section of the market because there's only a few people at any given time that are ready to take that action. And the last one here is another app. This one is for a study guide for the Bible, it looks like. And you can see here again, it says try it for free. It's pushing people directly to install the app to immediately go and sign up for that $7 a month fall sale. And again, this is people who are ready to buy right now. If they haven't seen this app before and they don't have a relationship with this brand, it's going to have a very hard time getting people's attention, and they're not going to be interested in clicking on this app to actually install it and potentially sign up. And if you just think about your experience, if you see an ad on your feed from something that you've never seen before, that you have no relationship with, how likely are you to click on that and actually download and install? And then how likely are you to actually even convert and buy from that? It's going to be a much bigger uphill battle than if you had built a relationship and provided value in advance. So, what is the solution here? So, the solution is to actually amplify the content, amplify those content focused ads that we talked about earlier, and create ads that focus on delivering value so that you stand out in a crowded marketplace. These ads, because they're something that users actually want to engage with, are going to have significantly higher CTRs. They're going to get cheaper impressions, so you're going to get to more people for less dollars spent. And they're going to generate more trust because, again, they actually give people what they want and they're providing value. They're going to enable you to get the attention of people before they consider any other options. So while people are scrolling past your competitors' ads, they're going to be stopping and paying attention to your ads. And when they are ready to buy, you're going to become the only choice because they've already built that relationship with you. As a result, you're not going to be competing over the same potential users, and you're going to get significantly better advertising results. See, one of our secrets to the incredible results we're able to get for our clients is that we believe the big things are what matter and what actually drives results. It's not producing endless amounts of creative or chasing the latest gimmick. It's actually designing a strategy that addresses the real problems with traditional marketing to be able to produce significantly better results than your competition. So let's look at how Calm was able to amplify their content. So Calm currently does this by spending a portion of their ad budget on ads that are focused on providing value and building trust. This is far more natural, and people actually want to engage with this content rather than focusing on just promoting and selling the app. And you can notice how these ads still give a person a way to download if they are ready and interested. So We've got an ebook here for 5 ways to build culture for employee well-being. We've got one that says a video that says learn how to fall asleep in 15 minutes after listening to this. And so it's providing value. It's getting people to actually want to stop and engage with these ads. But then down below them, you can see all of them still say install now or download now, which will eventually push them to download the app. And so we're providing value, getting people to actually stop and engage and increasing the quality of those results, but doing it in a way that's more natural for users. They don't just start by promoting the product and trying to convince the person to be interested. They start with where that person is and providing value to them to build a relationship with them and increase the quality of that user over time. This is significantly different than the traditional approach of just producing ads that focus on your app exclusively and don't provide any value. That strategy is a lot closer to the person at a networking event that just goes around handing out their business card and trying to get deals and take from people instead of actually engaging with people, getting to know them, and producing a real relationship. All right, so let's look at a few examples here of companies that I think are doing this really well right now. So one of them here is MyFitnessPal. They're obviously a big company and they're doing extremely well and growing. And you can see here an example of them running an ad that's focused on providing value first. And so this ad here is a partnership actually with an influencer named Dr. Mike, and it's helping educate people on the how to eat quality food and the quantity of food to eat, both things that are going to lead to people potentially wanting to track their food using an app like MyFitnessPal. So again, we're providing value, engaging with people where they are, and not just targeting that top part of the market. We have another one here that's helping educate people on relationships, and it's for education app that's focused on those kinds of things. We've got one for Airtable here, which is actually a software that helps you keep track of different data and information. And here they're providing value in terms of the ability to download a report, which inside of that is going to push to install Airtable and sign up for an account. We've got Noom, which is another fitness account or another fitness app. This one's focused on the food that you eat and helping you diet through different psychological principles. And so here they're providing some information about foods that have more calories than you think they would. And so again, providing value, getting attention of people that are going to have interest in this particular kind of thing, and then transitioning that afterwards to actually be able to download the app. And then finally, we have one here for Canva. And this one is an example of someone showing how to create decks that impress your coworkers at work. So they're providing value, showing someone how to get a result right now to be able to create something that will, get them better results at work and improve their career. But at the same time, obviously, in this video, this influencer or this person they had create this ad is actually using Canva to do that. So the logical next step is to then use Canva yourself to be able to do the same thing. And so they're providing value, but they're doing it in a way that segues cleanly to the product and does it in a natural way so they can get the best results and attract the most attention with their advertising and marketing. So at this point, you might be wondering, does this mean there's no place for conversion focused ads and those traditional ads you see from so many companies? And you might be thinking, educating, providing value to my market sounds good, but what about me? What if I have nothing to show for it after I, promote all these ads that deliver value? What if I have no installs and what if I have no actual results? And so that actually leads us to the third mistake that we see, and that's called a divided house must fall. So most app founders believe that they have to make a choice between content or advertising. Even if they decide to do both, they typically operate as completely isolated parts of their strategy and not combined. This means that their content doesn't benefit from the power of paid ads to reach millions of potential users, and that their paid ads don't benefit from the natural selling power of content, like we talked about, to more effectively attract those paying users. So the breakthrough here is that people approach content and advertising separately when they should really be combined. So the solution here is a combined approach. By combining the unique strengths of content ads and direct promotion ads, you maximize ROI. You get the benefit of content ads to bypass people's sales filters and get more attention more effectively and affordably. And you get the benefit of direct ads to generate immediate installs and immediate revenue for your app. The way you do this is you run content ads that are more likely to appeal to people at all stages, and then you remarket to those audiences that you generate with powerful direct offer ads that convert users. So the way Calm was able to do this was by following up their content ads with targeted direct offer ads to convert people. This two-stage approach enables them to build highly valuable audiences of people who are interested in this particular type of product and whose attention they have, and also now have trust with them, and they convert those people into actual users and paying customers of Calm. With this strategy, they're able to leverage the unique benefits of both approaches to create outsized results that most people can only dream of. And just in case you're thinking it's only Calm that is doing this, I want to share a couple of other examples from apps you may have heard of that are doing this strategy incredibly effectively right now. So here's one from Masterclass. If you haven't heard of them, they're a very rapidly growing, highly successful app that is focused on providing education from different authors and different actors and different people who have a skill set, typically celebrities, and they create programs out of those that people then access through membership to be able to learn. And so what they've done is created some fantastic content ads that feature little clips from those different celebrities or those different people that have courses, and they train on a particular topic for a small segment and give them a little bit of a taste and provide some value. And that hooks the user's attention. It gives something they can actually learn from, and then they follow up with them with that conversion ad to actually install and start to sign up as a paying user at that $10 a month subscription cost there. So they have content ads, and then they again follow up with conversion ads, and they're leveraging the strengths of both. Here's another one for that Noon company that we talked about earlier. And so here you can see there's a number of different value ads where they're delivering value to the marketplace. They've got a quiz here, which is very effective. They're teaching people about some of the calories in that food, for example, here, and they're helping with some courses that are actually inside the app in this example. And then what they're doing is they're following those ads up again with direct offer ads where they're actually sharing the price and pushing people to install and sign up. And so they have content focused on providing value and again, following up with conversion ads. Here's another one for a company called Asana. They're a project management software that you may have heard of. They're one of the biggest companies in this space. And they have a bunch of different ads here that are focused on providing value for them because they're more B2B. You can see these are more like different guides or different blog posts. That tends to work better in B2B markets if your app is in that space, because that tends to be the kind of content that people engage with more there, but video content can work just as well. And here they're providing value by teaching people 15 secrets to make to-do lists that actually work, how to pitch a project management software. So this is actually helping sell Asana, which is again a value add, but one that directly benefits them. And then here's one for overwhelmed at work, how you can help get organized better. And again, Asana is a clear way to do that. So they're providing value, building trust, giving people a way to engage with them before they're ready to buy. And they're following those people up that they've generated a lot more cost effectively with this two-strike approach with a conversion ad that actually pushes people to download and install Asana. And that's the ad you can see on the right here. So as powerful as this strategy is, after implementing it for a few dozen clients, we realized that there were still a couple that weren't able to get the breakthrough results that we would expect. And this is when we realized that there was one final piece to unlocking exponential app growth. So there's three pillars that we realized to unlocking exponential app growth. The first one, like we've talked about, is engaging content, creating content that goes out to the marketplace and can actually engage people where they are, and as a result, get higher click-through rates, get more attention, and really break through the noise that's out there. The second piece here is strategic advertising. So following that up with that advertising that's able to convert that attention into paying customers and people who have downloaded the app. And the third piece here is an optimized app. So you can have engaged content, you can have strategic advertising, but if you're sending it to an app like we talked about in the very early part of this training that isn't optimized to get the best results from this strategy and isn't optimized to convert as many of those people that you're sending there as possible into actual paying users and people who have been onboarded and actually signed up, then you're going to still miss out on the full benefits of this approach. So the breakthrough here is that the best advertising in the world can't save an app that isn't optimized to convert users into revenue. And this is really just like pouring water into a bucket with holes in it. If you're pouring water, it doesn't matter how much water you pour in. If it has a bunch of holes in it, all of that water is going to leak out. So it's really important that you make sure your app is optimized to be able to convert the users that you're generating into, onboarded users and then users that actually convert into paying users. And so you need all three of these pillars to be able to exponentially grow your app. So with traditional app marketing, where you would typically just have standard ads driving directly to an install like we've been talking about, and potentially some content marketing going on the side organically, and then maybe even some conversion optimization going on as well, what we wanted to develop was a system that combined all of these critical pieces to unlocking exponential app growth. And that's why we developed the exponential growth model. So the first step here is to create quality, engaging content and then be able to amplify that content with powerful strategic advertising and then optimize to convert those users into actual monetized users that drive real revenue for the app. And because we found it was so difficult to find all three of these critical elements to app growth success in one place at a good cost and high quality, we decided to build the world's first amplified content agency. So when we looked at the app marketing space, what we realized is there's basically three different players. There's typically content agencies that charge anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 a month, and they're typically more concerned with aesthetics and creating interesting, beautiful content than driving real results. So they don't have that focus on actually driving installs like the other departments do. Then you've got advertising agencies that charge anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 a month, and they really fail to engage users in a way that generates trust and loyalty, like we've been talking about in this training. So they're driving a lot of ads directly to installs, and while those work, they're really not optimized effectively for today's marketplace. And then finally, you've got CRO consultants here that are anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 a month, maybe on the low end of that if it's just a part-time consultant that's only doing a few things. And the problem with them is that they're not typically integrated with the marketing teams and not fully integrated with the company. And the smaller guys, unless you pay for the high-end ones, don't typically have proven systems, and they're not rigorously going through and testing each of the variables to optimize your app for the best results and highest profitability. And so that's why we developed Round Squared. Like I said, this is the first amplified content agency. We specifically designed this for apps that want a proven model to grow fast. And I want to show you how this works and the systems that we've developed to get you the best possible results. And so the model that we developed here is called the exponential growth model. I've shared a little bit about what that looks like here today, but I want to go through it in some more detail. The first section here is what we call omnipresent content. And so this is where we work with you to create engaging content following proven frameworks for creating highly valuable content that gets attention. This content will get massive attention and have the opportunity to go viral in your market and drive tons of results just from those engagements alone. You're going to get free organic content traffic from the content that we post to your feeds and then manage those accounts. And it will allow you to build an audience that you can then follow up with to drive actual conversions and improve results long term. This content can be used across multiple channels to scale your efforts so you can deploy it in multiple different places. And then we follow this up with algorithmic advertising. So algorithmic advertising is our approach to strategic advertising. It follows proven methodologies that we developed over the last 10 years for developing profitable campaigns. We take the content that we produce in the engaging content stage and we amplify that content to generate installs and warm audiences. With this, we have powerful conversion ads that drive exponential user growth and follow up with those. And then we optimize this process over time by split testing all the different variables to ensure that your maximum return on investment for your advertising dollars spent. And the final piece here is what we call systematic CRO. And so systematic CRO is a proven system for maximizing the revenue from your app. We ensure that you're converting each of the installs to get actual monetized users, and we do this by optimizing app store listings, purchase screens, onboarding, and much more. It's a systematic approach designed to increase your app's profitability by going through each of those variables and split testing them to improve results throughout the entire app. So how does this work? Well, we start by taking you through a process to identify your market's biggest challenges and desires so that we can create compelling content that has the opportunity to go viral and drive organic results. Then our team of genius creative specialists works to create hyper engaging content for your market. Our team of advertising specialists is going to work then to leverage that content to create ads that capture attention. And they're also going to develop and launch powerful conversion focused ads to drive installs and paying users. And then finally, our team of obsessed conversion specialists is going to monitor your metrics to be able to optimize you for maximum profitability. So let's look at how each of these different elements works. So for our omnipresent content strategy, the first thing we're going to do is a creative discovery process. And here we're going to do a deep dive into your market to identify the core desires to be able to create content that's compelling, gets attention, and has the opportunity to go viral and drive organic results and installs. And so this is a core part of the process. This is really the foundation that everything else we're going to do is going to stem from. Then from there, we're going to go through a creative planning process where we're going to actually map out the content calendar for you each month and strategically plan which posts are going to go live on which days to get the best results from them. From there, we're going to go into our creative development phase where we'll actually work with you and work with different creators in your marketplace to be able to form partnerships, develop UGC ads, work with our internal design team to create incredibly compelling creative that we can then use for our campaigns. In the second stage here, we have our algorithmic advertising systems. And here we're going to first launch our awareness campaigns where we'll take that compelling content that has the opportunity to go out to the market and achieve better results by not just going after those people that are ready to buy right now, but focusing on getting the people that are interested by providing value to them, identifying them as potential customers, also generating installs and also generating potential users, but focusing first on creating those relationships that we're then going to be able to leverage. Because these ads are optimized differently, they're going to have even better results and in better click-through rates and lower costs. And then we'll follow that up with the more expensive conversion ads. And so these are the ads that are going to directly push for installs. Those are going to drive even more people that we've generated from the first phase to actually install the app and convert into a paying monetized user. And then finally, we're going to optimize all of this. So we're going to go through a very detailed optimization process where we'll split test and optimize each of the different elements of your campaigns, the content, the targeting, everything related to getting the best possible results. And we'll go through that as we optimize each of these different campaigns. And the final piece here is our systematic CRO system. And so here we're going to start by optimizing your App Store listings to make sure that every person that hits that App Store listing has the maximum chance of actually clicking to install the app and converting on that page. Then we'll go through a proven process of optimizing your onboarding flow to make sure that every person that actually downloads the app sticks and stays for a long time. And then the third piece here is to optimize your monetization, whether that's your purchase screens, your different monetization methods, to make sure that we're extracting the highest amount of value per user so you can make your app as profitable as possible. And all of this combined is what we call the exponential growth model, a profitable user acquisition strategy that scales fast. So if you're interested and want to learn more about how we can help you scale your app and attract paying users fast, we have an opportunity for you here. So if you want to claim a free strategic consultation with our team of expert app growth specialists, what you can do here is schedule a call now and you'll get a free 45-minute consultation with our team to help you grow your app. We'll help you determine which platforms you should leverage, different tech stacks that we recommend, campaign strategy, and much more. And at the end, you'll have the opportunity to request a free 25-page custom strategy document where we'll outline everything we go over and the strategy that we would recommend to deploy all of these different approaches we've talked about today, specifically to your app. And you're welcome to use that for your app, even if you don't choose to move forwards and work with us. So if you'd like to take advantage of that and get answers to your questions like what platform should I focus on for my app, or what budget should I plan to spend each month, or even what results should I expect from this strategy, what kinds of creative should I be making, where should I start if I don't have marketing funds, or just feedback on your app in general before you invest in ads, you can take advantage of that today here with this link down at the bottom, which is roundsquare.io/exponential growth. That's roundsquare.io/exponential growth. And if you go to that, you'll be able to book a call with our team to be able to have all your questions answered and have the opportunity to take advantage of that free 25-page custom strategy document. So that's pretty much it for this training. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope it gives you a lot to look forward to grow your app this year and moving forwards. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we look forward to talking to you soon.